What are you expecting to see play out in emerging markets in the coming months?
I mean, I actually see that as one of very major downside risks to our baseline, which is that things could get a whole lot worse in emerging markets. Now, we are assuming in our baseline that emerging markets will have a more severe health crisis than what we are seeing right now, but not at the same level as what we've seen, for instance, in the euro area or the US, in terms at least of containment measures. Now, that could change. That could be very different. Secondly, it's not just the health crises. They have a big collapse in external demand. They have a big reversal in capital flows coming into their economies. And if you're a commodity exporter, you have a major drop in commodity prices. And they're starting out with much more fragile health systems, much higher, very high debt levels. And so these can compound the problem. And so I think that is one area where the downside risks are severe, and why it's very important for the international community to pay very close attention to emerging markets and low-income countries.
So, Gita, how are they meant to counter these shocks? I think that's a really important question for us to explore. Quite clearly, the United States, Europe and others can act counter-cyclically. They can develop huge fiscal packages and go out there and force and size. EMs can't do that. Many emerging market countries, as you know, when a crisis hits, yields move against them. What are you suggesting they should do? And from a multilateral level, how's the global economy meant to work together to address some of these risks?
So there are severe challenges that emerging markets face. So in terms of advice, we would first start by saying, well, repurpose some of the spending that you were going to do on other projects towards dealing with this crisis. It's very important for them to have access to concessional financing. For the poorest economies, it's very important for them to have debt relief. At the IMF, we are doing both of those in terms of emergency lending and in terms of providing debt service relief to our poorest members. But many more countries and nations and players and creditors will have to step in here to support these economies. And it's also very important, I would say, from given that this is the health crisis, that these countries have access to the medical supplies, medical equipment that they need. Aid needs to be provided to countries for this. And also, if and when we have a vaccine, it's important that they have access to it.